Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Elizabeth.
We're sisters, wine lovers, and your hosts for the podcast Spirits Uncorked.
In season 2, we're leaving the haunted waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia and diving into all new spooky stuff. Shadow people,
I've seen them.
haunted military bases,
I've served on one.
local restaurants with ghostly reputations.
I work at one.
Okay, if something spooky doesn't happen to you, I worry about you.
The paranormal is my normal.
Plus, we'll sip and chat with horror authors, fascinating guests, and test out some superstitions along the way.
Knock on wood.
So uncork a bottle and pour a glass of the paranormal with us on season 2 of Spirits Uncorked.
Get ready for sips, scares, and sisterly sarcasm.
If you're enjoying the podcast you're listening to right now, and you've got a love of the paranormal, then I'm Rob Kirkup, and I think you might enjoy my show, How Haunted. Every other Friday, I take you to some of the most haunted locations across the UK, with the occasional trip overseas, as we explore the dark history behind each place, and the terrifying ghost stories said to haunt them. Across the year, there are seasonal specials too, including Christmas episodes packed with real listener ghost stories. And every October, the podcast goes weekly, a themed month building towards a big Halloween spooktacular. You'll also join me on real paranormal investigations, ghost hunts in seriously unsettling locations, with audio from the night so you can hear what happens as it happens. So if you're ready for creepy locations, grim history, and stories that follow you long after the lights go out, search How Haunted wherever you get your podcasts. And join me as together we ask, How Haunted?
Love Supernatural Japan? Take it deeper. Join us on Patreon for ad-free episodes, early access, and exclusive shows like Japan Ghost Stories and Spicy Wasabi. Plus, bonus videos you won't find anywhere else. More stories, more secrets, more of the strange side of Japan. Find the link in the show notes or at supernaturaljapan.com. Welcome to Supernatural Japan, the podcast where we explore Japan's mysterious, eerie, and unforgettable folklore. Sometimes terrifying, sometimes enchanting, and always deeply rooted in local history and culture. I'm your host, Kevin O'Shea, and today we're traveling far south of the Japanese mainland to a subtropical paradise where ancient rituals still walk the streets. Miyako-jima in Okinawa Prefecture. Here, one of the country's most unusual festivals unfolds each year, the Paantu Festival, a celebration that's equal parts terrifying and fascinating, especially for children, and rich with spiritual meaning. Miyako-jima is part of the Miyako Islands, located in the southernmost reaches of Okinawa Prefecture, closer to Taiwan than to Tokyo. Its turquoise waters, coral reefs, limestone cliffs, and sprawling beaches make it feel like another world entirely. The culture here is different too. Okinawa was once the Ryukyu Kingdom, an independent realm with extensive trade connections to China and Southeast Asia. And this history left Okinawa with its own language, customs, music, and culinary traditions. Visitors immediately notice the difference. The gentle strains of Shanshin music, the brightly colored textiles, and the unique blend of Shinto, Buddhist, and animist beliefs that infuse daily life. On Miyako-jima, ancient rituals aren't just preserved. They are actively lived. And nowhere is that more striking than in the Paantu Festival. So what is the Paantu Festival anyway? Well, the Paantu Festival is a ritual of purification, protection, and community celebration, usually held in February or March according to the lunar calendar, in the village of Hirara. Its most memorable feature is the Paantu themselves. Figures dressed head to toe in straw or grass, wearing grotesque wooden masks with exaggerated facial features. They carry sticks or leafy whisks, and their movements are wild, unpredictable, and sometimes frightening. And these figures roam the village streets, smearing mud on homes, crops, and anyone they encounter. Onlookers, especially children, often scream and run, part of the ritual's purpose. During the festival, Paantu participants move through the village with a sense of chaotic energy, stopping at each house to mark the family and cleanse the property with mud. The mud itself is believed to carry purifying and protective power, driving away evil spirits and misfortune. And children are central to this festival. They are chased, playfully scared, and sometimes lightly smeared with mud, a symbolic act of purification and a warning against misbehavior. Adults participate as well, seeking spiritual renewal and the cleansing of bad luck from the village. The Paantu procession culminates at a central shrine or communal area, where the ritual energy is believed to solidify the village's protection for the year ahead. Now, I will share some links to YouTube videos showing this amazing and terrifying, especially if you're a child, event. I watched one video where a man dressed as a Paantu relentlessly chased a small girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, through crowds of laughing onlookers until he cornered her and wiped mud on her. She screamed in terror the entire time. And it really reminded me of the Japanese festival and Japanese children screaming in terror during Setsubun festivities when oni crash into the classrooms or homes to scare them. And I have to admit, as I mentioned on the episode about Setsubun, I myself, when I was teaching in Japan, may have been responsible for 1 or 2 children crying, as I was often asked to dress as an oni at the school I taught at. What makes the Paantu Festival unique is how it blends fear and protection, play, and spiritual ritual. Okinawa's worldview often sees the supernatural as something present and participatory, not distant or purely symbolic. By frightening children, the festival teaches respect for spiritual forces, while reinforcing social cohesion and shared tradition. Adults, meanwhile, engage in acts of communal purification. The Paantu themselves are considered to carry ancestral spiritual energy for the day, temporarily becoming more than mere humans. They are living conduits of protection and warding power. In this way, the festival is less about spectacle and more about maintaining harmony between the natural and the spiritual worlds. For visitors, the Paantu Festival is a sensory immersion. Imagine streets alive with the sound of traditional drumming, children screaming and darting between Paantu figures, the smell of mud and damp earth mingling with the salty sea air, and the sight of grotesque moving masks that are both terrifying and captivating. Locals laugh, chant, and cheer as the Paantu move through the village. And even the most cautious outsiders can't help but be drawn into the energy. Now, getting to Miyako-jima is relatively straightforward. There are direct flights from Naha, Okinawa's main island, taking roughly 45 minutes, or connecting flights from Tokyo or Osaka. And once on the island, the festival is held in the village of Hirara, which is accessible by local bus or taxi. And visitors are welcome to watch, photograph, and even participate respectfully. But it's important to remember that this is a living ritual with deep spiritual significance. At its core, the Paantu Festival is deeply connected with supernatural belief. The figures themselves are thought to embody protective spirits, carrying the power to cleanse the village of disease, misfortune, and malevolent influences. Their grotesque masks and straw-clad bodies are believed to temporarily house ancestral energy, making them more than symbolic. They are active participants in the spiritual life of the community. And children who encounter the Paantu are not merely frightened for fun. They are undergoing a form of spiritual education, learning the limits of fear, respect, and the power of unseen forces. In Okinawan tradition, the boundary between humans and spirits is fluid, and the Paantu Festival is one of the clearest, most visceral examples of this interplay. The Paantu Festival is not unique in Japan in using fear as a way to teach children about behavior, respect, and the supernatural. For example, in Akita Prefecture, the Namahage Festival, which we did an episode on earlier last year, features Oni-like demons who visit homes on New Year's Eve, scaring lazy or misbehaving children while admonishing them to work hard and obey their parents. In northern Japan, Tono's Oni festivals involve similar masked figures who chase children through the streets to drive away laziness, mischief, and evil spirits. And even in the Kanto region, some Shinto rituals incorporate frightening masked figures as part of purification rites for children and the community. Across Japan, these traditions show a consistent cultural thread. Fear is not used maliciously, but as a tool for teaching, protection, and maintaining harmony with the unseen world. And in each case, the ritual transforms fear into a moment of learning and spiritual growth. The Paantu Festival of Miyako-jima is a striking reminder that the supernatural is never far away from everyday life in Japan. Here, fear and play, chaos and protection, laughter and terror all coexist in a ritual that is centuries old and still vibrant today. For children, it's a lesson in respect, obedience, and the invisible forces that shape the world around them. For adults and visitors, it's a window into Okinawa's unique culture, its connection to the spirit world, and its unbroken traditions. Experiencing the Paantu Festival is to step into a world where the ordinary and the supernatural meet in mud, masks, and energy that is as chaotic as it is meaningful. An unforgettable chapter in the story of Japan's living folklore. Thanks for listening to Supernatural Japan. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to help our show grow, please leave a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts, and a rating and comment on Spotify, or wherever else you listen to us. It really does make a difference. And make sure those are 5-star ratings, my friends. Now, to see shots and photos of the Paantu Festival and the scary mud-covered characters involved, as well as beautiful Miyako-jima, follow us on Instagram at Supernatural Japan, as well as our Facebook group. Links are in the show notes and over on supernaturaljapan.com. And if you've ever had an eerie experience in a place with a past, we'd love to hear your story. So please reach out to me, your host Kevin O'Shea, through the contact form at Supernatural Japan, or by email at supernaturaljapan@gmail.com. I'm already in the very, very, very beginning phases of putting together a Supernatural Japan book, and I want your stories to make that happen. Now, I really want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to download and listen to this show. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be making this podcast. And quickly, one more thing. I want to give a big shout out to Paul Bestall over at the Mysteries and Monsters podcast. He was kind enough to invite me on his amazing show to talk about all things Supernatural Japan. He is a super knowledgeable guy about all things spooky and folklore, and he has such an incredible podcast. And if you found your way to Supernatural Japan from Mysteries and Monsters, thank you so much for coming over to the spooky side of Japan. And another big thank you to Paul for having me on his wonderful show. And that's it, everyone, for this episode. And remember, sometimes a little mud and a lot of terror can bring you and your family health and prosperity, especially if you live on Miyako-jima.
Looking for a hauntingly unique podcast this spooky season? Listen to I Talk to Ghosts for chilling ghost stories, genuine in-studio medium readings, and a virtual seance table where the spirits have an opportunity to speak directly to you. Find I Talk to Ghosts on all the fine podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Happy haunting.